Are we on?
Yeah, we're back live. I just need to get the game up.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for bearing with us. We tried to push the stream to as high quality as possible, but apparently it is crashing Menet's PC, so we scaled down the quality fairly considerably.
Actually, the quality is the same. It's just the resolution that's lower. Since I lowered the resolution of Frozen Synapse as well, it will still be a 1-to-1 ratio. Though the overlays will be downscaled some, but that will be fixed for the next stream.
Okay, great. See, I don't really know much about that sort of thing, so...
You will eventually.
I will eventually. Alright. Great.
Right, the charge. Let's just play the first turn.
Yeah.
Well, both players managed to not get anyone killed at least.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, neither player knows where the bottom units are.
Yeah, I would say everything here looks extremely logical. Except for perhaps the fact that Wonder Hero did decide to charge both MGs at the bottom area. Personally, I might have used the sniper and MG together to try and pressure from one area, because the sniper is so slow and doesn't really present that great of a threat to the bid line, since once it starts traveling there, an MG can take it out fairly easily. But that is just my personal preference. Why don't we take a look at the next turn, since the first turn seemed rather logical?
Yeah, and my GPU fans are now max, so hopefully no more crashes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he fires off a grenade in a quite logical place, but Wonder Hero managed to realize this, so he won't lose any units to the grenade.
Yeah.
Well, Leon is currently in a quite good position. He's got most of the line covered, and due to how the enemy units are positioned, they cannot really go anywhere without being seen.
Yeah. Wonder Hero, it seems like he was playing the waiting game as far as the grenade is concerned. He wanted to be able to see its location, wait for it to fire so that he could see its location. That's why he just moves to a little bit forward into a safe spot. I expect to see some considerable movement on the next turn.
Let's just play it then.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Wonder Hero seems to do some heavy scouting.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to risk losing units to grenades, I think.
Yeah. It was quite strange. I think. Do you think he ended up seeing anyone?
Yeah, I think he saw the bottom MG.
Yeah, I think so too.
And he already knows the rough location of the top MG. And due to the trace lines, he knows approximately where the grenade launcher is, so he now knows basically where the whole team of Leon is. But of course the reverse is also true.
Yeah. So now I would expect Wonder Hero to try and well, he's gonna have to move forward, and I would expect him to split his MGs as he does, because it is a really stupid idea to try and charge forward with against a grenader with two MGs stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
Because if you get hit, you don't just lose one, you lose them both. So I expect to see them split up this turn as they move forward. So let's just play it.
Yeah, I'm just doing some rescaling here to try to get some slightly better quality on stuff. Yeah, looks like.
Yeah.
Most things are good now. Right, next turn.
Yeah, so he splits up his MGs. One heads towards the top. It looks like they are both doing a lot of scouting, which is really smart play on the part of Wonder Hero. Uh, he is right now. He is in quite a good position to try and charge the bid line in the next 2 turns. So
Yeah,
um,
but if he tries to charge down the middle now at least, he'll get quite easily taken out by the MGs. And same if he tries to charge the bottom. So he will have to do something clever to get to the line on time.
yeah. Um, how do you figure he's going to be taken out by the green MGs through the middle? It looks as though
Lean will probably reposition them at least somewhat so that he covers the middle as well.
yeah.
And the grenade launcher, since it didn't fire last turn, can now deploy a grenade within roughly 3 seconds, and is thus a considerable risk.
Yeah, I would expect to see him fire right in that middle area. What do you think?
Yeah, that seems likely. If he fires a bit in front of the first MG, he can kill any unit that kill any unit that remains, and any unit that tries to run down the middle.
Yeah. And so, what do you think? What do you think Wonder Hero's strategy is going to be for charging the bid line?
Well, he doesn't have the time to go on the upper side, but he could try to get in the room to the right of the green MG1, because the line covers that bit as well. He can also try to run into the middle room, but there he is at risk of grenades. So that's also true for the room to the right of the MG1.
Yeah. Well, let's see how he does it. Let's play the next turn. Oh wow.
Hostile neutralized.
It looks like we should have a very interesting turn coming up. This is quite an interesting, it's quite a difficult position for Wonder Hero. I'm not exactly sure how he's going to be charging the bid line here. What do you think?
Well, due to the grenade, which can likely just fire around the corner, he cannot go quite on the underside. And he's not really safe in the room either, since grenade can just fire right in.
Yeah, and the MG is right there.
Yeah, I think it's most likely he'll lose since his sniper is now dead. And there's not really any way for the MGs to get to the bid line, as the shotgun can just fire, well, almost anywhere and kill both of them. He could probably split them up and have one run on the underside and one on the upper side. I don't think there's any way the grenade can get both of them. But then all Lean has to do is use his MG to prevent one of them.
Yeah, let's see how let's see how it finishes.
Yeah. He rushes forward and well, he would have won if it hadn't been for the grenade.
Well, oh right, yeah.
So that was a quite clever tactic, except he didn't run far enough. Had he just run around the corner, he would have survived and won.
Yeah. Well, nice match between Wonder Hero and Lean. Let's go on to the next one. I'm really excited to look at the next one because it features one of my favorite players to watch at the moment, Jeffus. Jeffus is a fantastic player. He is one of those players who is content to prove his superior frozen Synapse skill through playing in the DGL and not grinding out a ton of wins versus other players on the ladder. so you can see he is currently ranked 40th, and let's see. I just have to pull up the game ID. I have a little bit too many windows. Can you just give me that really quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
132
Uh-huh.
514. Yeah, well, it's secure, and it's a four-way secure, which makes winning the bid quite risky, as there's four different ways the enemy can get at you from, and it's highly unpredictable.
Yeah. Um, Generally, I much prefer to play on maps where there are, well, like indicated spawn positions on the actual map, as opposed to this, the spawns being anywhere at the border. Because, as you said, it is so difficult to bid. Although I am, I would say, I guess I'm slightly surprised by Jeff's bid. Maybe not, though, as it seems logical for him to think that he could hold that area. Though I wonder...
Well, the corner up here is quite risky, as an enemy unit could get within the zone without being able to be shot at from over in the corner here.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks like definitely it looks like a potential weakness.
Yeah. His bid does, however, basically neutralize the enemy sniper, as there's very few places the sniper can fire at high enough range to actually win an engagement.
Yeah, his bid definitely does neutralize the power of the sniper rifle, which I guess then this bid is quite smart in that he essentially now has 3 units versus 2, because I really don't see how the sniper can be very useful given the situation.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at turn 1.
I still wouldn't have bid that top left square, however, as that's quite a big disadvantage.
Yeah, potentially, and it looks like Diamir was also quite worried about being the defender on this map and bid a small area. So anyway, let's have a look at the first turn. Oh, interesting. Oh, this is going to be very interesting because it is quite possible that he can simply run his unit back and forth. Do you think he can maintain his position within the bid area?
He can just stand on the border of the bid area. He could stack both his units there, which Jeff has said is fine since he himself is using that tactic. In my opinion, at least, if your opponent ever uses stacking, then you're free to do so as well.
Yeah. Well, as soon as the patch comes out, we will have a reliable fix.
Stacking will still be possible, but the UI issue will be removed, as it will be possible to ignore any part of a stack.
Yes. So that's going to be a really important thing for competition, because sometimes it is necessary to stack. It's not simply something you do to exploit the UI. It's also something that is really quite useful in certain situations. Now, I'm not sure exactly about Diamir's choice on the first turn to do this back and forth thing with his number 1 MG. I would have much preferred to see him closer to the bottom edge of the wall that he's at, so that closer to the bid area, so that now, well, it's just that now it seems like Jeffis is going to be able to bring this the stack of units down and get a better angle on that area.
Yeah, but due to this corner of the wall, he can just put both his units over here, and he could likely have them cover both entrances, both on the overside here and underneath. Due to the stillness disadvantage, it would be very hard for Jeffis to dislodge him, as he could prevent most distraction techniques just by ignoring one unit each, and thus having a 2/3 chance of ignoring any distraction.
Total Wormage asks, do you have to be in the area continuously to be in there for
Yes.
3 seconds? And that the answer to that is yes.
Yes,
Um,
as far as I know, it resets every time
Yeah.
you leave the area.
Yeah, it would,
And
there would
one
be a lot of
also
room for
cannot
some-
win by taking the area before the end of turn 2. The counter only starts at the start of turn 3. So you
Yeah.
have to be in there for 3 seconds continuously after the beginning of turn 3.
Yeah, that's why I find this tactic from Diamir on the first turn to be a little bit strange, moving his number 1 MG back and forth like that. I would have saved that till later in the game. Anyway, let's look at turn 2.
Well, one thing that's of important note is this, that due to the sniper, he is not as vulnerable as he would have been from the top, as any unit could at least be killed by a sniper before killing both of his unit, but it would likely take out one, and it could then of course retreat.
Yeah. I guess I'm not quite certain how the sniper is going to get any sort of line of sight on
Sniper has awesome line of sight. It has the
Right here?
largest line of sight in the game.
No, I'm talking about this particular
No, I'm
sniper
talking to-
on the bid area.
Yeah.
It looks to me like Diamir is showing his hand very too quickly as far as what he intends to do, because now what I believe will happen is that Jeffis will be content to trade down to a position where he gets the MG versus the sniper, and that's something that he can do from this position, I believe, just by moving the entire stack down and trading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just see what they do.
Yeah, this is exactly his thought. And you see, so this is a success for Jeffis. He's the trading pretty much helps him in this situation, because there's no real chance that he'll ever trade his MG for the practically useless sniper on Diamir's team.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how Diomir could possibly lose now, as far as I can see, there's no way for Jeffis to kill both his units within 3 seconds.
You mean Jeff? There's no way for Jeffis to lose.
There's no way for Diomir to lose. Diomir is red. He
You
just has
think
to
that Diamir
stand
is gonna
there.
get?
He just has to stand there for 3 seconds and then he wins. Jeffis would have to kill both his units within 3 seconds.
I'm sorry. We got a little bit. Apparently, I got a little bit of ahead of you. And I wasn't watching
I'm
the
at the
stream.
start of
I'm going to.
turn
I'm going
3.
to explain what I meant here. I believe that what Jeffis can do in this position is just move his all 3 of his MGs down, being content to trade. Just move them to the point where they're ready to engage. He's just content to trade off MGs, such that, hypothetically you would get in the end a 1 versus 1 situation between the sniper and the MG. This is why I said I think
We're currently at the start of turn 3. The sniper is currently pretty irrelevant.
I think he can get an angle if he moves down.
Yeah, it's really impossible for us to test due to, well, not being able to test it.
That's true. But
the real question is if it's possible for Jeffis to kill the red guys within 3 seconds, and I'm far from sure that's actually possible.
Well, we'll see how the next turn goes. Unfortunately, I've already advanced, so. Yeah, Shrike, that is, well, that's 3 units stacked for both players.
Wait, why
Sorry,
didn't he win
2
there? He
units.
was in the zone for 3 seconds. I guess it must have been slightly too far up and thus didn't count as
Well,
in the zone,
Yeah.
as that's really the only way he could have lost
Okay, I see what
in
you were
that
saying.
situation.
Hostile.
I see what you were saying now. Yeah, it looks like. Now, this brings up an interesting question that we should probably spend some time testing. How far, with regard to the waypoint at the
Well-
end of the command chain, how close does it have to be?
Basically, the middle of the waypoint has to be within the zone.
Right, and of course there's no way exactly for us to see that, but it
Yeah.
must not have been the case that he was in the zone.
Yeah, it totally looked like he was in the zone. That's not possible, Vari, since it's the red team. We cannot select them. So yeah, there really needs to be some sort of indication if you're in the zone or not. I had expected Diemir to just win by just standing there, and he would have if he'd actually been in the zone. Had he been maybe 2 pixels further down, the game would have been over and he would have won.
Yeah. And you think there, well, what was I'm just curious as to the timing on that when that unit was killed.
Yeah,
it looks like, it was killed like 13.7 or 8.
It was killed at 13.664 according to the console.
Wow. You have to teach me how to use that thing.
Just open the console and you can see it.
Well, I know how to open the console, but I don't know how to write anything in it.
Sure, but it just says unit machine gun team 2 died at
Oh, it tells you?
13664.
Okay. Will it tell you that sort of information during a simulation?
Yeah, as far as I know. It tells you the exact point of time a unit dies.
Great. That's I guess that's a nice tool to know.
Yeah.
For myself and anyone else watching. All right. So well, it looks like now the situation is quite reversed and Jeffis is winning.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah. It is pretty difficult for him to lose this situation, as now he will be able to cover the entire zone, and he'll have the stillness advantage on any encroaching units.
Yeah. Let's just play the next turn and see what Diemir decides to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah. Diemir plays it smart and manages to get another MG dead. And I would say Diemir now has the advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very nice play on Diemir's part. Jeffis must have just thought he had the game in the bag and was perhaps a little bit lazy simulating his turn. What would you have done exactly, Menet?
Well, I'd moved my units so that they weren't vulnerable to what Diemir just did.
Yeah.
So I'd
Probably
either
most
move them
obviously.
further up or further to the left.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably have perhaps moved one behind the window cover to the right side of them, and maybe one up along the bottom side of the wall in order to cover the doorway entrance.
well, what the Emir now can do is send both his units down to this corner and just send them just over the edge so that Jeffis would have to manage to dislodge them both with a single unit. If he just times it perfectly, there's, from what I can tell, no way Jeffis can beat them both.
Yeah, probably a far easier way to do it would be just to set up a trade.
Yeah, that's pretty much what stacking them both to where the other red dead guy is.
Yeah, that's exactly what he would be going for in that situation. So let's just play through the rest of the game because it is practically over.
Yeah. Well, it seems Jeff is predicted roughly this and did what he could to prevent it. Yeah, there's not really much left to say now. It all depends on what Diomir tries to do.
Yeah, he just actually Diomir very nicely. See, I would have preferred just the simple and solid strategy of exchanging units. I'm not sure though. It could have been possible that in the simulations both units would have been taken out. But this is far nicer as both units end up alive at the end of the game.
Yeah, what Dimmer can just do is run a little bit up with the sniper while he brings his MG down, and then he can just flank Jeff's last remaining unit.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like getting a bit ahead of you because
I'm playing
I want to see the rest of the game. Alright.
And yeah, that's basically what Dimmer decides to do.
Okay.
And he wins. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, it was very well played by Diomir. Jeffy started off well, but then slipped.
Yeah. So a nice game. Let's go on to the next one. Let me just find. There we go.
The same ID +1.
Yep.
Nice and simple. And it's
Nice
now disputed.
My favorite. Alright, I'm just loading at the moment. And taking a quick sip of coffee.
Yeah. Didn't we have this map earlier, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway.
I don't think so.
No, I'm just recognizing it because I played it as well, I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure,
Alright.
but... the teams are pretty interesting. While Diomir has 2 shotguns, there's a rocket launcher and a sniper on Jeffy's team. Used well, the rocket launcher can be used to essentially make Diomir's shotguns almost useless.
Yeah. That would probably entail a strategy of taking out the middle room with the rocket. This would do 2 things basically at the same time. It would prevent the enemy shotguns from advancing too far up the map. It would also create line of sight for the sniper, which I imagine will be positioned on the top left side of the map to cover that wide open bottom area, left area of the map for pretty much the whole game. And then as that building, as the rocket launcher starts to chip away at the walls of that building, the sniper will be able to cover even more space.
Yeah.
So I would actually say this is an interesting situation where the sides of the shotgun may not have the advantage, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and due to the rocket launcher and the shotguns, controlling the middle would be hard for either player.
Yeah. So it looks like we're set up to see a really interesting game. Let's play through turn 1.
Yeah. The rocket launcher, as predicted, starts to take out the middle room. And Jeffis has already set up 2 of his units to cover the bottom area,
Yeah,
while Daimer currently has control over most of the right-hand part of the map.
yeah, and that is as expected, given their spawn points. Now, it is often quite useful to group the sniper and MG together in a situation with shotguns, because the shotgun can successfully charge a sniper and take it out far easier than it can an MG because of their respective ranges. So I like that play personally. And it looks like otherwise he's just spreading his units out normally, as is Diomir. So
Yeah.
do you have anything to say about it, or do you want to just move on?
The shotguns can quite easily be caught out in the open now due to the rocket launcher. So if Diomir isn't careful, he could easily lose one or both his shotguns. There's not really any units of Jeffis that are at risk, and well, it doesn't seem like either player knows much about where the other's units are.
Yeah, I would say it really looks as though nothing at all is scouted, but I could be wrong. It could be the case that one of the either the MG or the sniper do see one or both of the shotguns, but I obviously we are unable to test for that.
Yeah, it's also quite possible that they managed to get a glimpse of the top 3 red units somewhere on the way, and that would thus likely have been mutual. But the bottom
Right.
2 units are almost certainly unseen.
Alright.
Yeah, so let's just play the next turn.
Yeah. Oh. Huh. Well,
It starts off pretty badly for Diomir, as he manages to lose 2 of his units. He does have his shotgun in a somewhat nice position and can likely take out an MG at least, but could quite possibly die as well.
yeah. This will also be quite interesting. I'm not entirely certain if the shotgun can get away with going up at the killing the number 2 MG without dying himself. Although I was so much happened that turn, so I'm going to personally rewatch it.
Jeffy's rocket placement is somewhat strange. Had he shot further down, for example, he could have taken out the other shotgun as well. Of course, he had no way to know for sure that the shotgun would be there. It depends a lot on if he knew where the shotguns were or not.
Yeah.
If he
Well, it
knew
looks like
the shotguns were there, it seems kind of silly to fire where he did.
Yeah. Although he did looks to me like he opened up line of sight for the number 2 MG looking through the window. And that is why I believe that's why the shotgun ended up getting taken out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he might not have had sight for long enough.
Yeah, so Jeffis is currently at an advantage, while Diomir does have control over more of the central area that can quickly change due to Jeffis' unit composition.
Yeah, I would expect it to change considerably on the next turn, as I don't really see what the number 4 shotgun can do, but that's of course just from eyeballing it. I can't simulate.
Yeah, he might be able to take out MG2, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. Alright, let's keep proceeding on with the game.
Yeah.
Play turn 3.
Both decide to run away and play it a bit safe. No more units died this turn at least. But
Yeah.
while Daimir has somewhat of a positional advantage, Jeffis has the advantage of having the bottom MG pretty much locked down and having 2 more units.
Yeah. And I would expect a rocket to hit the bottom portion of the central room this next turn, and
Yeah,
this
but I don't
pretty
think
much
he quite has the advantage. Neither, I mean the angle needed to do that. He can probably hit the top part from here, but he'd have to walk a while to manage to hit the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because through the doorway and the window he can only hit the top. And even if he walks to the bottom of the corner, he can barely hit the bottom probably.
Right.
Yeah, he'd have to walk to the bottom at least to hit the corner. So
Yeah.
there's somewhat of a delay, especially since he's crouched.
But in any case, as soon as that is performed, as soon as that's done, I would say that Diomir's occupation of the center is pretty much gone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, let's just see what happens.
yeah.
Yeah, the rocket launcher takes out both
Ooh.
parts of it, killing 1 unit.
Yeah.
The MG3 is still alive as is MG1, but MG1 is now caught out in the open and there's probably no way for him to survive.
Yeah.
MG3
it looks...
can likely make it to cover in time, and he can at least deny or possibly even escape with the box.
Mhm.
But I'd say there's little chance of Dirmir winning now.
Yeah, I'd say there's virtually no chance. So let's just finish
Yeah.
up the game.
At best, I think he could
Ooh.
manage to grab 2 boxes and
Oh.
escape with those, but that wouldn't be enough to grant him a victory.
Yeah, I think he's just caught out in the open. And,
Yeah.
well, knowing that this game ends on turn 5, can
And
see
yeah,
that.
all that happens is that Dirmir manages to deny Jet his 2 boxes. This
Yeah.
means he loses less points, but he still loses.
Yeah, so the match is currently 1-1. Well, we are currently at 1-1 in our replay of the match, and so we'll go on to the deciding game.
Which Dark
should-
Charge.
Yeah, it should be the charge game, and that's just one number more 132516.
Yeah. Once again, we have the map with 2 shotguns versus a shotgun and a grenade launcher. This, I would say that neither side has much of an advantage due to unit composition, as both shotguns and grenade launchers are extremely useful in charge.
Yeah, I would say that the match looks quite even, though it's natural here that Diamir makes an aggressive bid because he does have the he does have the 2 shotguns, which are of course
Yeah.
better for moving forward. So
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure, but it is possible that he'd be able to take the line from the right side of the wall as well, at least by the window.
right, I think only at the window.
Yeah, that's also possible.
Is the I think the rest of the line is too narrowly
Yeah, that's quite possible, and if that's the case, I at least would a bit of space further back, since
Yeah,
then
me
it'd be
too.
possible to stay inside the room.
Yeah, me too. So let's check out the first turn.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Right, both just rush forward and not much beyond that. Jeff seems to be concentrating on the upper part of the map, but he has the mobility currently to cover the bottom part of the map as well.
Yeah, and just one well-positioned MG will be able to cover. Well, we'll be able to cover a significant portion of the bid line. There is some possibility that a unit could stop right at the bottom edge of the building and try and camp there.
Yeah.
And not be taken out by the MG. But
Yeah, and he now knows where the top shotgun and the MG is, and from what I can tell, he probably saw the bottom shotgun run past.
yeah,
So,
but that would be what you would expect anyway. Is that these the units are pretty much in this sort of configuration with a shotgun pressuring the top and a shotgun pressuring the bottom. The MG is the MG placement is slightly less easy to predict, but let's look at turn 2.
yeah. Well, Diemer is quite a bit risky. He mostly stays in the same position with his shotguns, and the grenade into the room could have killed the one currently in the room, but probably not the other shotgun.
Yeah. So you think he do you think he makes a run for well, I don't know if that's possible because it looks as though green shotgun will be able to cover any advance through the room. That's actually really quite smart placement by
Well,
Jeffs.
it is quite possible that shotgun can run to the right and then alongside the wall without dying, but
Yes.
we can't really test that, and it would
Right.
likely be quite risky.
Yeah. As you can pretty much expect a grenade to be thrown into the building next turn. So I would say he's probably going to be moving downwards to try and advance on the bottom half. Especially, I'm not entirely sure if it happened, but especially if he has spotted the 2 units at the top.
Yeah, let's just go on to the next turn then.
Ooh!
Unless you don't want to quite yet.
No, I just did. That's why I went, ooh! Because,
Hostile.
Ooh,
There was-
once again, Diemer is quite risky and manages to lose his remaining shotgun. He's still got his MG, but I don't think there's much of a way for him to win now.
No, not at all. I'm really not quite certain what he was trying to do. He might have been expecting Jeffus to plant his shotgun at the window, and he might have thought that he could have successfully flanked him. Although this is a...
No, he turned around, so he was apparently not trying to kill anyone standing at the window.
Huh.
I'm not really quite sure what he was
Yeah, I
trying
have no
to
idea what he was trying to do. I guess interesting play nonetheless. Why don't we just skip for or move through the rest of the game now, since I believe it is over.
do. We're apparently not as interesting anymore. We only have 7 viewers now.
Well, that's fine.
Well, viewers, if you know anyone
Thanks
who's
for
interested
sticking
in
around.
Frozen Synapse, tell them to watch. Maybe they'll learn something.
Yeah. And you know, this is we are still kind of new to this, so we are going to be trying to work on our casting and making things as interesting as possible.
And
Anyway,
hopefully no more crashes. My
Yeah.
my GPU temperature has stayed pretty stable. It started out at 54 C or roughly, and is now at 56, and it's been there for the last 10 minutes or so. So I don't think I'll crash again.
yeah. So it looks like we'll have all that stuff down for the next stream, and we can just worry about providing, well, not worry, but think about providing some more interesting content for you guys, and be less preoccupied with some technical issues. So let's play through the rest of the game. It looks like it's going to be over. Yeah.
There's really not much Diemer can do to win, and yeah. He
Yeah,
could
he
have maybe
tries-
tried to rush the top but he didn't know the placement of the enemy units.
Yeah.
If he knew Jeffis was going to concentrate on the downside, then he could have tried running up, but he probably wouldn't have had the time to get to the bid line in time.
Yeah. And in any case, the shotgun can move really quickly up there to
Yeah.
take him out. All right. So let's move on. I believe we are going to go into the finals.
Yep.
Right.
Wonder Hero versus Jeffis.
This should be very interesting. Very excited to see these two players play. Jeffis has won. Well, Jeffis
Two
is
tournaments.
yeah, 2 tournaments. He's doing incredibly. So, and he's a player. Let's see. He's a player who is very tenacious, and also it seems to me, like there are moves in this game where there are times when you're always searching for the best move and you're trying to make sure that it's safe and everything, and then there are moves where you have to do a sort of analysis of various risk-reward scenarios. Jeffis seems to me very good at navigating that sort of gray area. So that's in particular why I've been interested in some of his games.
Yeah. Well, in this match, there's two MGs and a
Whoa.
shotgun versus 3 MGs. I'm not quite sure why Wonder Hero bid as big as he did.
Yeah,
And
that's
his
it's
unit positioning seems quite strange, really.
yeah, as
It-
well as Jeffis's too, though.
It kind of seems like he didn't realize he could move his units, but with how experienced he is, that seems extremely unlikely.
Yeah. I would say too, Jeffis's placement is rather strange. I'm not sure I quite like it.
Yeah, if I were Jeffis, at least I'd position myself at the window. Probably. Of course, that's kind of risky due to the cover up here, where Wonder Hero could have placed his units.
Yeah, and with such a large bid, it's probably best to spread apart your units. That looks like one good place from which to pressure the bid area, but I would definitely have put the MG, another MG, in the other spawn area and maybe had it try and dash into the room.
Yeah, or maybe the shotgun, as shotguns do quite well solo.
Yeah.
That way,
I
Wonder Hero would have to stretch his defense out, and
Yeah.
weak points would be much easier to find.
yeah, these very large bids in secure, I feel like
Yeah.
players aren't quite understanding. In my opinion, I believe people aren't quite understanding how limited your units can be when the condition is cover this area for 3 seconds. Like all your opponent needs to do is get in there for 3 seconds. And like when the bid is so big, it's like all you really have to do is just keep maneuvering and looking for that weakness, and positioning your units to try and create some sort of disharmony in your opponent's defense, and then just basically walk in. So
Yeah.
I'm a bit surprised that Wonder Hero bid so much. Also a bit surprised that Jeffis is deciding to pressure this gigantic bid from just one area.
Yeah. Well, and due to how this bid is laid out, it needs 2 units to cover everything. There's no position where it can cover absolutely everything of his bid area, and thus he
Yeah.
will have to stretch his defense.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
except of course Jeffis didn't stretch his attack at all. So that makes it a lot easier for Wonder Hero. despite his bid.
Exactly. It basically cuts Wonder Hero's bid in half. It's like it's as if he had only bid half of what he did. Anyway, let's see how it plays out. See what happens on turn 1.
Yep. Jeff is only waits. That's a pretty unique move.
Yeah, that's quite unusual. I would have expected him. Well, I would assume that he was worried about an enemy MG taking the bit of cover that it's at now. You know, at
Yeah.
the top part of that sort of room.
Yeah, and what I'm wondering more than anything is why Wonder Hero just didn't start up where he now has his units, since he apparently wanted to be there.
Yeah. Maybe he was attempting to do. I'm gonna have another look at it myself because I am quite confused.
Yeah, I guess he might have been trying to hold up Jeffy's units for a short while, but yeah, I'm really unsure what he was trying to do.
Yeah, me too. But looks like not much has happened. Jeffus decides to play it very safe and see where his opponent's his opponent's units will be positioned, and it's not at all good news for him that they're all basically set up to cover the area that he's attacking. So we'll see how the game unfolds given that information.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, Jeffys manages to get a shotgun up to the cover, and well, luckily for Wonder Hero, the cover doesn't quite extend far enough up for him to just crouch behind it while within the zone. Right now there isn't any easy way, I'd say, for Jeffys to win, but he could try to rush his shotgun up to the left, but that wouldn't be too hard for Wonder Hero to counter either.
Yeah, I really think that Jeffus is in quite a difficult spot, and you can imagine how much different things would be if one MG was in the other room right now, where it can make use of some cover to cover certain areas within the bidded territory, and also potentially run in from either side of the building. So, well, let's just keep going through the game and see what happens.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hostile neutralized.
So it looks like I think I see what happened. I'm not actually. I am not sure why Jeffus thought that this attempt was safe at all.
Well, he did manage to get this MG over there, so he had some success at least.
Yeah, but but not enough success because he lost the unit, and like we were saying, it's going to be relatively easy for him to cover any area that he's going to be able to move into.
Yeah. Let's just play the next turn and see how it unfolds. Yeah. Well, Wonder Hero managed to avoid getting any of his units killed.
Yeah,
Had
but I
he
still don't know.
Yeah, had he run a bit further out, if Jeffys had run a bit further out, he might have gotten the kill, but of course that would have been risky, as then he could have been taken out by people above the bit of cover.
Yeah, I think regardless, they have the they would have had the stillness advantage. Interesting. It's an interesting play.
Yeah. I don't see any easy ways, at least, for Jeffis to advance. Wonder Hero can likely get to an angle to shoot at the hole in the bid zone quicker than Jeffis can get to the bid.
Yeah.
And
That's what that was what I was thinking about too. But the amount he would travel to get that he would need to travel to get the proper angle on that area is just so small.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's play through the next turn. Whoa! Wow! Quite an interesting try.
Yeah, but I really don't see much of a way that could have worked.
How long do you think he was in there? Let's see.
Well,
Yeah, it wasn't very long at all.
he was in there for 2 seconds almost. But really there wasn't much of a way that could have worked, as all Wonder Hero needed to do was have at least one unit focus on the shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty much just a last-ditch attempt by Jeffis, hoping that his opponent makes a mistake. But Wonder Hero is a good enough player not to make those mistakes, so...
Yeah, so let's just
Let's
see. I mean, there's not much of the zone he can get to at all within 2 seconds, which is what he'd have to do to win. His last chance is pretty much just to run up to this little bit of zone to his top left, and even that probably wouldn't succeed anyway.
Yeah.
It would, which is pretty noteworthy, have succeeded in the last turn due to what Wonder Hero did. So if Wonder Hero had been wrong in his prediction that Jeffis wouldn't run up there, then Jeffis would have won last turn. So he could have...
You think so? You think that number one wouldn't... maybe number one already has the angle?
No,
I mean, obviously we can't tell.
I don't think it has the angle needed
Yeah,
to
actually
shoot.
I don't think so either.
I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Alright, well,
Let's just play the last turn.
yeah, just play the last turn.
Yeah, Jeffis doesn't... I don't think he even gets within the zone in time. Yeah, if he had survived to the end of the turn he would have won, but the chance of that was minuscule.
Yeah. Alright, so... I believe... We are, well, with this... Sorry, was this the first match we're covering?
Yeah.
From this? Yeah, we haven't gotten to any of the
now
other...
there's Disputed.
Which is, what's
09. It ends in 09.
09.
I think I'll have to search for the last one, as I'm missing the last digit in my notes.
The last one is 141910.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so in
Maybe we
the...
can't check that. We cannot use V to check range and angles.
Yeah. It's funny though, in the current replay system, I believe they're like certain times in which you can use V. Well,
Even if it was within field of view Acme, then it wouldn't necessarily be within line of sight.
yeah.
Even if it is within the cone, that doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean he can actually see past the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, that there might have been this small
Dead zone.
portion of the bid zone that he could have exploited, given the position of the wall.
Yeah.
But I don't really know.
Yeah, we
Anyway.
really can't know due to being unable to test the angle. Yeah, we're suddenly down to 4 viewers. Yay. Well, anyway,
Don't mention it. Whatever. Just play.
Well,
All right. So
Jeffis has a rocket launcher. This could be quite a bit of an advantage. Though Wonder Hero is of course able to apply somewhat more pressure due to his extra shotgun.
yeah. I feel as though I would prefer Jeff's position. However.
Yeah.
Because of that nice combo between the sniper and the rocket launcher that we've seen a couple of times in the previous matches that we've looked at, the ability to create line of sight where it isn't.
Yeah. Of course, there's also the factor that cover is very sparse on Jeff's side of the map.
Yeah, there is that factor. But it's not completely necessary for him to have it. He just needs to be far enough away.
Yeah, his sniper can cover most of the map once the middle area has been destroyed, which should be by roughly the middle of the second turn, if that's the kind of tactic Jeffis is going to do.
Right. Well, let's play through turn 1, and
yeah, he starts off destroying some of the central area and gets a kill on an MG with his sniper.
Yeah.
Wonder Hero apparently didn't account quite for that possibility.
Yeah. It's so difficult in these situations where you have the rocket that's able to create line of sight and the sniper with tremendous range. It's so hard to account for where to know when where your units are safe or not, and as a result of this, Wonder Hero gets one of his guys taken out on turn 1.
Yeah, that's one of the things I dislike about rockets. I think they just add too many variables most of the time, making the skill factor smaller and increasing the difference luck makes, basically.
I would have to wholeheartedly disagree, because luck will be a
well, especially in situations such as this, there's something like 5 different logical places for Jeffis to fire, and there's really no way to account for all of them in a good way.
Correct.
So if you're lucky, then Jeffis fires in one of the ways you have accounted for, and if you're lucky, he fires in a way you haven't accounted for. There's maybe a 1/3 chance, and if that's the chance that happens, then that sucks for you. There's not much you could have done.
Correct. However, he did not have to move both of his units into the location they're now in. Yeah, I'm trying to actually. Oof.
Yeah, but for example, he could have risked the rocket to roughly where his shotguns are now, or yeah.
To be quite honest with you, I'm not that impressed with Wonder Hero's play in general here. I'm not entirely certain what both shotguns are doing all the way to the left there.
Yeah, I think he's
granted,
trying to maneuvering in as safe as way as possible. I agree that Wonder Hero's play definitely wasn't optimal, but it's very hard to play your very best when rockets are involved.
That's true. However, I think he also made a rather large mistake with sending both of his MGs up top like that. It is possible for him to have accounted for the rocket firing as it did. He might have moved if he wanted to take the top area, he might have moved his MGs up to that top bit of cover and ducked. That way he could have flanked over on the right, through the buildings on the right side. That said.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Of course, another possibility then is that Jeffis would have waited a bit with rocket launcher and then shot that piece of cover, and
Yeah.
thus quite possibly killed both MGs or at least left them without cover. Huh.
All right.
And now
Well,
I'm getting turns from L3N. Why isn't he watching? He shouldn't be playing now. Shame on him.
well, he can play if he wants to. Although we did just cast one of his some of his games, he might be interested in our
Exactly.
perspective. Anyway, let's take a look at turn 2.
Yeah.
Unit down.
Well, Wonder Hero now does roughly as you suggested with this MG.
Mhm.
Gets it over to the cover. Yeah. Well, his shotguns are still safe, but they're not in a particularly useful position.
Yeah.
And I'd say that Jeffis is at a rather large advantage now. He controls most of the map, and most of the map is now inaccessible to Wonder Hero.
Yeah, I would say this position looks quite poor for Wonder Hero. It makes it quite a bit worse that he that number 4 shotgun especially is just in quite a poor position. But let's have a look at turn 3 and
Yeah.
more line of sight for the sniper. It
Wonder
looks like.
Hero gets more control over the map, but I don't think he will be able to grab many boxes without getting killed himself.
Yeah, I mean I guess it all depends on exactly where they spawn.
Yeah.
But let's just keep going forward. Ooh, oh god, that was close. Oh. Have you played the turn yet?
No, I'm
Yeah.
playing it now. I had to say something. Yeah.
You get-
I see.
you gotta-
Yeah, now he manages to get his shotguns caught out in the open. And
yeah.
Yeah, he has really no chance of victory now.
Yeah, he just that's was a very nice play from Jeffis. Taking out that cover
Yeah.
and getting the double kill on the shotguns. This game is well, it's going to be over next turn, so let's just play it.
Yeah. And yes, Wonder Hero manages to
Ooh.
nigh one box, but gets killed by a well-placed rocket.
Yeah. Alright, well, very nice play from Jeffis in that game. Used what might have been an advantage, but just based on the map layout, to really good effect. I think all of his rockets were basically fired perfectly. The way he spread out his units as well was pretty much perfect. Some lackluster play from Wonder Hero's part. Probably, as you said, because he was afraid of the rockets. But you look at that game, and if I don't know if you recall the game we did last time between COBHC and the Raven, where COBHC was just so tremendously aggressive and brave, I guess, with the advancement of his units.
Yeah.
Basically saying, I will sacrifice one or even potentially 2, just for that temporary occupation of the center when it matters.
Yeah, well, rocket launchers are of course only useful as long as they're alive. If the enemy manages to get close to them, then you're screwed. But
Yeah.
as long as you manage to keep it alive and well positioned, rockets are extremely useful and makes it much more challenging for your opponent to predict stuff accurately.
Yeah, but when we were talking about the implications of having a rocket for the overall gameplay, and you were talking about the increased what could potentially be the increased luck factor. You have to. I think what also needs what also bears pointing out is the possibility of playing in that way and playing very bravely and not minding the possibility that one or even two units get taken out if you can just sort of opportunistically, sort of take position.
Yeah, you can do well despite rockets. What I prefer is that at least both teams have rockets, as then both teams have to deal with the hugely increased number of variables.
Right.
I think when
perhaps.
only one team has a rocket, then that's an advantage to their side, as they have to deal with much fewer variables than the other team has to.
I to a certain degree, you're correct, but on the whole, I have to say that I disagree because, well, first of all, the rocket splash damage is, of course, significantly decreased on the opposite wall opposite side of the wall that it hits, meaning you can be a lot closer, and it's fairly easily to simulate how close you can be to any wall, pretty much.
Definitely.
Now,
But in a lot of situations you basically have to take, for example, a 50-50% chance, because you know he can prevent you running from one of the two only possible ways, but he cannot prevent you from running both, and then you basically just have a 50% chance that you'll guess the right way to run.
right.
Of course,
Well,
that also
it'll be
sometimes
interesting.
happens with regular units, but it's less common as they've
Yeah.
got a limited amount of movement, while a rocket launcher can shoot almost anywhere on the map that they have line of sight to.
Yeah, well, the perspective that you seem to hold on this seems like very common among some of the top players, that there is this sort of, I mean, there's potentially a kind of a cheapening of the game when those units are introduced. But I
I
I'll
only
be
think
interesting
the
to see.
cheapening is there when only one team has rockets.
Right.
If both teams have rockets, then it's equal, basically. Both
Well,
players
it'll
then
be
have
interesting
to deal with the problems that rockets cause and all the
Yeah.
variables they introduce.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see
one
the
of-
different perspectives that players end up having in this
Yeah.
on this issue as the I don't know, as the game grows and as everyone gets better.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess these are the kind of topics that we'd like to continue discussing in IRC and in places like this live stream. Let's
Definitely.
look at the final game.
Right, the final game is charge, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's a charge, dodge charge as usual.
Yeah, I'm just loading it now.
Yeah, there's two MGs, a sniper and a grenade launcher, versus two snipers, a rocket launcher, and a machine gunner. I think I'd prefer Wonder
map.
Heroes side due to the amount of walls in the way, as the rocket launcher cannot easily make new line of sight for the snipers, simply due to the sheer number of walls.
Yeah, and his unit mobility is.
Much
I mean, he
lower.
has three of the fast units, and Jeffis has 3 slow units.
Yeah.
So I would definitely prefer Wonder Hero's side. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in this game.
Neither player is bidding aggressively, and that really makes quite a bit of sense since due to the map and the units hit. Watch this nub, it's me, Manet, and I am Nietzsche that are casting this.
Oh, hey. Yeah, yeah, this looks to be a quite an interesting match. I will say I'm not sure why Jeffus uses both snipers to cover the bottom area. I would assume that he's going to be splitting. I mean, I guess it's the only logical place for them to go, unless I guess the other thing to think about would be the possibility of moving one of the snipers towards the top area of the map and leaving one to cover the bottom.
Yeah.
But I generally think that stacking two snipers.
Yeah, it seems a bit strange.
Yeah, it's
well,
strange.
as I was trying to say before Watch This Nub distracted me, is that it makes a lot of sense that neither are bidding particularly aggressively, since due to the number of walls and the explosive units, it's quite risky
Yeah.
to bid aggressively here. If you bid too far, you can easily be taken out by a rocket or a grenade.
Yeah, the way the the layout looks and everything, it looks like this game was probably, I mean, unless something happens really early, looks like this game was probably just a huge headache of complications for both players. I mean, if you just look at the map, and the unit composition, it's just looks like a very tense game.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Well,
Yeah.
let's just play the first turn one. Well, no one manages to get a kill, while Jeffis opens up some line of sight for his snipers. Currently, I'd say it's about equal for each team, really. It depends on the further positioning of the units. It doesn't seem like either player knows much about where the other player's units are. Depends on what exactly they've seen, of course. Due to the angle over by the window, I don't think Jeffis has seen Wonder Hero's top units.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, he has seen the bottom unit. Jeffis has seen the number 1 MG.
Yeah, probably
that's for
sniper
certain.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the other
But-
hand, Wonder Hero doesn't know where the top MG is. Yeah, while he
this
knows
looks-
roughly where both snipers and the rocket launcher are.
Yeah, this looks like a maze of possibilities here. I like what he did with the rocket and the placement of the sniper. Of course, that's let's say somewhat imaginative, but also really solid. A good move. It looks like he will be fairly well covered. And I guess what I imagine his overall strategy for the game will be to chip away at the let's see, the front side of the building that's obstructing his view from the bid line. To do that with the rocket and to use the snipers to catch anyone that strays too much into the open.
Yeah, he can destroy this top bit of wall here and position his MG by this window right under him, and he will thus have the top half of the map covered, and he already has most of the bottom half covered,
Yeah.
which would make it very hard for Wonder Hero to advance.
Yeah. Yeah, this I think the whole first turn, and it looks like the way that Jeff's strategy is shaping up for this game is just really smart. His scouting is good, and now, as you said, like now the number 1 MG at the top sees no one, right? So he's safe to, I would assume, safe to just stay there and keep that area under wraps, at least for the next turn.
Yeah.
So
With how the grenade launcher is currently positioned, I don't think it can get within range of actually firing at anyone and getting a kill during this turn.
yeah,
It of course
So-
depends on where Jeffis moves.
right. But I don't expect him to move forward. I don't expect him to
Yeah,
move much at all.
Yeah. Basically,
I would
all
just
Wonder Hero
expect-
can do with the grenade launcher at the moment is prevent the top MG from advancing.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's
I'm
just fly the
surprised-
next turn maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you surprised at?
I was just surprised that. Ooh. Okay.
I'm a bit surprised at that trade there.
It looks like somebody got distracted. Yeah, he did it on purpose. Yeah. So,
Well, that was pretty
obviously-
smart by Wonder Hero.
yeah, it was. But at the same time,
Yeah,
both snipers are there, so.
yeah, but of course, his sniper wasn't really useful for anything except
Right.
maybe getting a lucky
Yeah,
kill or
right,
two,
right.
as it's so slow.
Yeah, and there's so many. There's so much of the buildings are on his side of the map, and
Yeah.
so much of the sniper's view is obstructed by those buildings.
Yeah, I'd say the grenade launcher is currently very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine he'll run that downward so that he doesn't get killed by the sniper or the rocket
Ye-
launcher.
The rocket launcher.
He can't run forward as that will just get him killed by the sniper, and if he runs a bit backward he'll just get killed by the rocket launcher, and same if he runs upwards. So the only
Yeah.
logical choice really is for him to run downwards and hopefully fire a well-placed grenade, maybe taking out an enemy that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Bad Frog says, "I just got this game today. It is so fun to play. Yeah, and it's even funner when it's half price." So,
on just in TV or what?
yeah.
I didn't
Um,
know if people actually used that chat. I'm not paying any attention to it. I think I'll
I
just
just
bring up
noticed.
the IRC chat here so that people can see what is being said in IRC.
Yeah, and if you are watching this, basically,
There.
we really, well, Menet and I at least really like this game, and we want it to grow and everything. And I think part of the thing that's crucial is that for that to happen is that more people should be chatting in IRC. So far, in my opinion, Frozen Synapse is given me the best community experience of any game that I know or heard of. Everyone is not only friendly but really smart. So yeah, everyone should come in IRC and chat, and you should invite your opponents to do so themselves. It looks is UK1 really down? We're on UK1.
Yeah, it's not down, but it's quite possible that Omroth has disabled joining so as to not stress the server too much.
Oh, it's full.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well,
That,
it's kind of a smart decision, though it is of course inconvenient if you have someone on UK1 you want to play with. But then again, then you can just move to one of the other servers, which have been temporarily reopened due to the Steam sales.
yeah.
Or of course you could just watch the live stream instead.
Yes. Or you could just watch the live stream. Anyway, why don't we keep going with this game? I was just about to comment on the fact that quite strange that we did see the trade. I personally would have thought that the purpose of having two snipers at that window is so that you have one focusing on the enemy sniper, so that the other one is free to be undistracted by or so that the other one can be free to shoot at any other units, and so that something like that trade doesn't happen.
Well, it looks to me like he did have the sniper 4 concentrated on the sniper, but it just didn't fire in time. I'm not entirely sure, of course,
Yeah.
but that's what it looks like to me, since if it had
Uh,
concentrated on that MG,
Hostile unit
it wouldn't have fired at that point in time.
okay. Yeah, it looks like you're quite right. It just seems a little odd to me that that Wonder Hero was able to get the shot off, given that Jeffis does have cover advantage.
Yeah.
But I guess it's unfortunate, but the replay system at the moment, we did speak to Amra today, and he is working on it. But at the moment, we can't simulate from an actual game, and so it's very difficult to see what is possible from a position and whether or not mistakes were actually made. So anyway,
Yeah, I'll just going to write something to a guy in RC.
okay.
6 hours ago, wasn't it, the sale started?
Yeah, think
Yeah.
so.
Right, let's just play turn 3 now.
Yeah.
unit down.
Yeah, Jeffis
Oof.
manages to take out the advancing MG, and yeah, has a
The
rather
advancing grenader.
grenade. And
Yes.
yeah, he has now a rather large advantage, though I think that sniper is lost. I don't.
Yeah, the sniper is definitely lost. However, it now Wonder Hero is left with 2 MGs. You think this is Jeffis has a large advantage here? Obviously his rocket won't be able to help really.
Yes, Jeffis has a rather large advantage, Acme.
Right. Well, it's Acme. It's a good phrase to describe, I guess, what's happening. Although I don't know about in this situation right here, because like you said, it looks as though the sniper is going to be taken out, and so how is number 1 going to be covering the advance of both 1 and 2? That's what I'll be interested in looking at as we see the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's Jeffis' major challenge, I think.
Right.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
just play next turn.
Hostile
Oh.
unit down.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think Wonder Hero's basically lost now.
Yeah. It looks as though he is lost. Do you think that the little pillar that it doesn't look like it obstructs his field of vision at all? It doesn't look like it could.
Yeah. Yeah.
The window frame, as we were discussing earlier, the window frame. Do you think that?
With that
Wonder Hero could
angle,
run
I
back?
think
Yeah, I
there's
don't think
no
so.
way for Wonder Hero to escape. If we take a look at when he started shooting, that was well, much farther to the left, and he's already been shooting for about half a second. So I don't think Wonder Hero can run far enough left to escape that, nor far enough right. And if he tried to run right, he'd probably just get killed by the rocket launcher anyway. And really, it's the same if he tried to run back.
Yeah. So it looks as though Jeffis has won the game. Let's just play through the last turn. Just
Yeah, as predicted, he
yeah.
dies in transit.
Yeah. So fantastic win by Jeffis to win DGL 4. Yeah, 4. We did cover all 3 games, right? This is the last
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So thanks for to everyone who caught the whole stream or even part of it. We would love to hear your suggestions on things that we can do to improve this project. And I don't know, different formats, different ideas for making this game exciting, for making watching something like coverage of the game to be exciting and entertaining, or just interesting. So we welcome criticism, anything from criticism to encouragement to suggestions. So please give us feedback on the stream so that we can keep producing better things for you guys. And Menet, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm typing.
You need to stop. You need to not let me just go and go and go. But yeah. So basically, I really think this game, that Frozen Synapse, is really good to watch. It's a lot of fun to look at top level games.
Yeah. What we could do now is I could do my turns against Lean in GGL number 9, and you could help comment, I guess. If Omroth is online, I guess he could give you the command to see ongoing games, or do you have that already?
No, I don't have it already.
Or the Strike, didn't he have it? He can give it to you, I guess.
I don't know if the Strike is online.
He was here at the start of the stream, at least. The
Yeah.
Strike, are you there?
Are you sure that that's ethical, given the fact that
Find it.
what I say could influence your decisions?
Okay, I could just stream it and comment on why I do things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could just stay silent, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good, because I actually really
Well,
have to go to the bathroom for a second, so I'll leave you for just a moment.
Yeah, I've apparently already won this secure at least. Let me just answer this guy again. Alright, in this secure, as you can see, L3N won the bid. The starting zones for me were thus here and here. If I remember correctly, all 3 of these rooms were starting zones. I decided to try to go on the upper side, as it would be pretty hard for him to cover there, with the sniper providing some cover from the top. That worked out pretty well for me. I wasn't quite expecting to engage without killing anyone over here, so I got a bit delayed with my MG, but I did get the first one over to the wall safely. From here I decided that it would be basically impossible for me to dislodge the MG down here, so I had to instead go up here and hope that Lean didn't somehow counter that. And yeah.
Hey, I'm back. Bad Frog asks, what is the IRC channel?
It's mode 7 games at irc.maxgaming.com.
Mode 7 games at, what is it? irc.maxgaming.com.
So with my MGs here, I'm now in a pretty good position. I could probably run down here, but that would be somewhat risky. So I decided to run up in here and doing some ducking maneuvers and cover this upper side, so that he couldn't get to the cover in time to kill my MG within the zone. And yeah, this basically went perfectly for me, and I thus won. Right, on to my disputed.
You sure you want to do this, given this is a dark game?
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
whatever.
I don't
Whatever.
think Lean is watching. Right, so basically I just started off with some maneuvering. I'm trying to pressure the middle a bit and cover the flanks here. Onward here, I'm continuing to cover the flanks. I hope he wins. Yeah, he did. I'm not quite sure where that MG is. I've got this place covered, so I guess he has to be in here somewhere. And this guy is probably still ducked behind cover there. I can probably just advance a little over here. And continue to pressure this area. Yeah, he has to be around here somewhere, so if I run something like this, then I should probably manage to get him. Based on the exact time here, he could be somewhere around here, so I should probably aim over here before going in. Yeah, this should hopefully let me get the kill. And, well, if he's behind that car, then I might be screwed, I'm not sure. Yeah. I think that should let me get that kill at least.
Whoa.
Are you watching the stream?
Yeah, I'm watching the stream.
Okay, good. I think I can just leave my MG there. If I put that one on ignore, that shouldn't be able to distract me in any way. And if I move his guy slightly, then at least he can't have every prediction he makes come true as related to that unit. So yeah, I think this is good. I'll just prime. And yeah, Lean has already done his turn, so I'll get to see the results immediately. There is where he had his MG apparently, and I got the kill on him anyway. Right,
Nice.
as to his last MG, he's pretty much stuck over in this corner. I can just really advance over to the center, and I think I've pretty much won the game now. As there's not much he can do. Going over here is probably a bit risky, so if I just stay here, I think I should be pretty safe. Are you mocking me now?
I'm not mocking you.
You sure?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm just bored trolling. No, I'm not bored. It's fun. It's fun to watch you win. It's nice to know that we haven't played. I mean, besides that that one charge game we played last time, it's nice to know that you are at least competent at this game.
And yeah, yeah. And what I'm trying to do here is just, well, scout a little.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the end of this turn, the zones will appear.
Yeah, what
And
Meneth is doing, can you zero in on what you just did? What Meneth is doing here is, well, it's a very smart, little idea, well, and it's very good to know, is that you can use wait timers such that your unit is primed to engage in what it could potentially be a very dangerous firefight at the very end of the turn. This gives you scouting information potentially at the end of the turn, and if you are like he's doing, ducking and then standing, and you stand into a winning engagement, that's also nice as well.
Yeah.
But the primary thing is keeping your unit safe, and also while still obtaining that scouting information.
yeah, and I'm pretty happy with this, so I think I'll just prime now.
System
Yeah.
primed.
And yeah, he hasn't seen. Ah, there is.
All right. Well, do you want to conclude our show there?
Depends on how fast he does his turn, really.
Yeah. I would imagine it's either going to be really fast or just really short. Uh, or sorry, or really long.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, I think we can wait for a little. So there it is already. So right, let's see what he's trying to do. Well, he still has his unit alive since there's another turn. He's running further to the right. And, well, if he stays there, he'll die. So, yeah, I've pretty much got this whole area covered. Interesting zone appearances. I can just really run this guy.
Yeah,
Dawn
this
Tower is
is-
slightly in the way, but yeah, I can just run this guy in here, then out here, and then just run off with this.
yeah, it looks like you're
Yeah, with my shotgun I can just take these two and then just run off. So yeah, I think I pretty much won this now, really.
yeah. I'd say you won it last turn.
Yeah.
All right, Menet. Well, how's that for our cue to say goodbye to our loyal and hopefully some new fans or just watchers of the stream?
Yeah, I hope people enjoy the stream, and well, we should maybe plan when the next stream will be.
Yeah.
Saturday, maybe.
Saturday. Unfortunately, Saturday is not going to work for me as I have a wedding to go to. But Sunday is possible.
Yeah, Saturdays are kind of nice for this since then it's pretty accessible to almost any time zone.
Right.
At least if one's a bit willing to change one's sleep schedule slightly.
Yeah. I think Saturdays would be a perfect day for this in the future. But like I said, just for now, I have a wedding to go to.
What about
My
tomorrow
cousin's-
then?
Sure. That sounds fine.
Okay, we could start this same time tomorrow, really, if no one has any objections to that. And then we would be doing the semis and finals of DGL number 5.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think this has gone on for long enough now.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Bennett, yeah. Are you sure you want to? Why don't we try it? Why don't we do it on Sunday so we have a couple more days in between to I don't know, get the word out there. As you know, new players are buying this game. Yeah, watch this nub. We'll be doing semis and the finals of DGL5. You know, as the Steam sale is going on, and you know, we might be able to catch some more potential viewers in IRC and things like that.
Yeah, I agree. We can wait till Sunday. The
Yeah.
sale ends on Monday, so most buyers will have bought it by then, and by then they will know if they're interested in the game or not, and thus more likely to actually want to watch something like this.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So we can plan for Sunday at this time.
Yeah, this time maybe a bit earlier. We'll clarify exactly when later.
Yeah. All right. Well, goodbye, everyone. I will see you guys in the chat. It was fun presenting these games for you guys. Meth, do you want to give your
Yeah, this
advice?
was enjoyable as usual. Yeah, if people want to get better at the game, the easiest way to do that is to play against good players and watch what good players do. An easy way to do that is to participate in the Dev Gaming Leagues. The next one, which is starting on Sunday at 12 GMT. That's 2 PM Central European Time, 1 PM British Summertime, and on the Eastern Coast, that's something like 8 AM.
Yeah.
I think that's.
But you
about
just
right.
sign up for those by Sunday, and you're good. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time on
Yep.
Sunday.
See you all.
All right.